Hi, I'm Vicky. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a steampunky Valentine's Day sign type of thing. Hopefully you'll enjoy the different textures and metal colors I used, so enjoy. So first I took a piece of wood from my husband's scrap pile. Like I said, it was probably a 6x8. I didn't measure it. It just looked about the size I wanted to do. And then I had to sand it because it had been rough cut. I sanded it with a heavier grit and then a finer grit so that I would get a pretty decent smoothness. I wasn't trying to be perfect, just enough that I wouldn't get any splinters. And then wiped it off really well so that there wasn't any sawdust left on the piece of wood, so that when I painted it, I wouldn't have any sawdust. And then I did just one coat of white acrylic paint as sort of a primer. Now you can see this particular piece of wood already had some paint stuck on it from whatever project my husband was using it for, but once I primed it, you couldn't really see it. Another thing I got from my husband were these little triangles, and you can set your painted piece on top of them, and they just leave a tiny little dot on the back side so that you don't really have to wait for the front side to finish drying. But once it did dry, I wanted to do the next color, well, the final color really, which was this pink. And so I gave that just one coat of this pink that I've been using. The paint is from Shuttercraft, which we bought on Amazon. It came in a pack of 18. It was really lots of different colors and really kind of a nice pink. And I gave each, all the sides one decent coat. So, and when I was finished, one thing that really was something my husband sort of taught me to do while we were painting walls, to get a nice smooth coat without the brush marks, is to smooth it like I was doing there. So once the pink paint dried, then I'm going to come in and add my embellishments and I make the actual sign. So first I started off with this chain. The chain, I bought this a long time ago, probably 7 or 8 years. I think it came from Michael's, just in the jewelry findings. There's a lot of different chains you can buy. And I'm just going to take a piece of it so I can make a heart out of it. And then I'm going to glue the heart in place. So I just used pliers to open one of the links to the length I wanted that made the right shape. And once I had that cut, I wanted to do the yarn first. So the first thing I did was just pull out some of the yarn and then put a knot on the back side. Once the yarn is all strung around the piece of wood, I'm going to hot glue it on the back too so that it doesn't come off. Though you could just knot it if you didn't want to use the hot glue. So I put the knot in, and then I just started wrapping the yarn around the wood to make this little sort of pattern. And then I just wrapped the yarn around pretty close together, but not quite touching. So I did it until I felt like it was wide enough to make that little flower finding look nice. And I didn't worry too much about what the tops and the bottom looked like. I was more, it's going to be sitting vertically on a shelf, so I was more worried about the front. And then I just hot glued the back, started hot gluing the back. And I ended up doing a piece of hot glue the whole way across to hold the knot I made at the beginning and all of the strands in place on the front. And once the hot glue had hardened, I came back with my chain, and now I'm going to make the heart out of the chain. So first I made it about the shape, a little bit about the shape I was going to do, just to make sure I had the right length of chain and started in the right place. And then I'm just going to put a little tiny piece of hot glue right there and attach both ends to that hot glue just to give myself a starting point. So I went around just doing every few links with a little bit of glue just to hold it and get the basic shape right so I didn't mess it up. And then I went around and added a little bit more so that since it's going to be sitting vertically, I didn't want the heart to lose its shape. And once that glue hardened enough, I took this little heart-shaped, I'm not even sure where I got this guy. I think he came off of a purse, honestly, that I had many years ago. And I've been saving it ever since, and I just hot glued that down in the corner. And the last piece was this little flower jewelry finding. It came from, I bought a bracelet. So, at Michael's you can buy the strung beads. And I've been using these little flower guys on a lot of different projects, so. And I thought it turned out really cute. Little steampunk. Very pretty. So there's my newest Valentine sign. If you enjoyed that, please like, subscribe. I really appreciate it. Bye.